I'm State Representative Jack Williams. I want to thank you for joining me this morning. And I have a brief remarks to make, and I'll walk you briefly through the document that you have. But in the summer of 2014, before Bill Clark coached his first football game at UAB, the UAB administration decided to kill the football program. The decision was made without any consultation with Coach Clark and without any hint from the administration that this action was about to be taken. The administration brought in a New York public relations firm, Sard Verbinnen and Company, to develop a scheme to mislead the entire community regarding the strategic study into the athletics department and the purpose of the Carr report. Using the scheme developed by this New York PR firm, Dr. Watts and key administrators spent months lying to members of the Board of Trustees, coaches, faculty, staff, student athletes, the student body, and the local community. Dr. Watts, on numerous occasions, told the media, local businesses, local political leaders, and the UAB Faculty Senate that a study was underway and no decision had been made regarding the future of football and would not be made until the data-driven process was complete. The information I'm sharing with you today will prove the following things. The decision to kill football was made prior to the 2014 football season. A plan was developed between UAB administration, select board members, Bill Carr and Associates, and the New York PR firm Sard Verbinnen and Company to deceive and mislead anyone outside of the scheme. The administration made the decision to kill football, and the Carr report was manipulated to validate that decision. The original plan was to announce the 2014 season would be the final season in September. Bill Carr intervened and convinced the administrators and the New York PR firm to hold off on the announcement until December. As of early November, Bill Carr was continuing to do interviews for his study, claiming that no decision had been made. Ladies and gentlemen, this is deceit and treachery at its worst, and action must be taken. Today, I am calling on UAB President Ray Watts to resign from his office immediately. I'm asking the University of Alabama System Chancellor, Robert Witt, to clarify his role in this deception. There's nothing here that implicates Dr. Witt, and I think it would be in his best interest and could help restore confidence in the system if Dr. Witt would step forward and publicly let us know what he knew and when did he know it. Thirdly, it's obvious that the Carr report was not an objective look at the UAB football program, but a hit piece with phony and manipulated data designed to kill UAB football. I'm calling on Dr. Witt to appoint an interim president with the instructions and authority to return football to UAB for the 2016 season. I am requesting the UA system board members who are not part of this scheme to demand accountability from their fellow board members who deceived them. This type deceptive behavior by board members is totally unacceptable. Furthermore, I urge board members to work with me and leaders in the legislature to bring about needed reforms to the UA System Board of Trustees to make certain such an embarrassing situation as this never occurs again. I am asking Governor Bentley to use his constitutional authority as chairman of the Board of Trustees for the UA System to clean up this mess that's been created, to work with me and leaders in the legislature and other board members to bring about needed reforms and solve these problems. And finally, I'm calling on the UA System Board of Trustees to eliminate the system's athletic committee, where the members of the committee, not board members, they would meet the NCAA definition of a booster. The arrangement on the UA System Board and their athletic committee is the only instance in NCAA Division I where the boosters of one university have complete control over the athletic program of another institution. This committee has worked against the best interest of UAB athletics for many years, and it's time to end the University of Alabama System's athletic committee's jihad on UAB sports. Hopefully, Dr. Witt and board members who were left in the dark during this horrible deception will carefully examine the information in these documents and will work with me to bring about needed reforms. I want to just take the documentation that you guys have and point out 3 or 4 things. On the first page, the last point there is, it says it's possible that the UA health system may lay off employees before December 1st. That sets an important context and perspective regarding the challenges facing higher education and medical centers and the need for UAB to set priorities and make sound investment with limited resources. My question to UAB, were those employees laid off for economic reasons, or were they laid off to give cover to the administration when they killed the football program? If you move toward the back, before the AL.com stories that are copied, there is a confidential report, the University of Alabama at Birmingham Athletic Department announcement Q&A. The second question says, UAB is more than a year into its strategic planning process, and so many other decisions were made months ago. When did the athletic department make this decision? How long have you known about it? The third point down, we received a detailed final report on this issue from Carr Sports Consulting and then in bracket, the word month. So they knew when they got it. They just wanted to fit the answer to the question, to the narrative, to the false narrative they were constructing. On the next page, question 4, who was involved in this decision? Now remember, we were told by Dr. Watts that no decision had been made and that Carr Sports was doing a comprehensive study that would lead to a recommendation and then a decision would be made. But according to their own documents in question 4, who was involved in making this decision? The UAB administration and athletic department leadership agreed that this is the best decision for UAB and the future of UAB athletics. UAB also consulted highly knowledgeable outside experts and advisors from Carr Sports Consulting to validate our analysis and inform our planning. So despite the claims made by Dr. Watts throughout this process, Carr Sports was not called in to analyze the football program. They were called in to validate a decision made by the Board of Trustees, by the administration and select board members. If you flip to the very back, the Carr Sports Report, which on December 2nd, those of you who were in the press conference received the Carr Sports Report dated November 18th. If you'll notice, the date on the Carr Sports Report is September 3rd.
What page are you on, Dad?
This is in the very back.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm kind of skipping around. But this is in the very back. And this report, the binder that you have, is the report that was released on November 18th. It appears the only change was the date to reflect the false narrative that had been constructed by the administration and the public relations firm. And just to close out, and I'll answer questions at that point. There was a handout to be given to athletes from UAB from the administration to UAB athletes, and one of the questions that this attempts to answer is the decision final? Could it change if we went out? And the decision is driven by stark physical reality that a winning season cannot change. That said, there are still many benefits to you and your team finishing the season strong. Make history. Show your heart. This will be a difficult transition, but it will demonstrate your ability to deal with hard times and show heart, work ethic, loyalty, and dedication. These are traits to be proud of, and this is a story you will be able to share and benefit from in every job interview for the rest of your life. Take this opportunity to prove your ability to deal with difficult situations and to help others through the same, something employers look for. So the UAB administration was prepared to urge their student athletes to show heart, loyalty, and dedication, something that the UAB administration failed to show to their student athletes. It appears, we were told on December 2nd by Dr. Watts, or the football team was told on December 2nd by Dr. Watts, that you don't know what you don't know. Well, after perusing these documents, it appears today that now we know what we didn't know. I'll take any questions.
So you think that Dr. Watts should resign immediately?
Absolutely.
And does he violate any kind of ethics requirement as president of UAB as a result of this? What apparent you believe is lying?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know about any ethical violations, but certainly he violated what my parents told me about telling the truth when I was a kid. So.
But as a president of a major university, is it not his requirement that he tell the truth to students and to faculty?
One would think so, and it'll be interesting to see if the board will look at this situation and demand change. I think that they should.
Do you think this was driven by UA trustees?
It appears, and you'll see it in one of the timelines, that there's an instance where there's a phone call scheduled to update select key board members on the announcement plan. Not the decision, but on how the announcement will be done. So it does appear that there were a small group of trustees, unnamed in this document, that were involved in this. And I would be remiss if I started speculating who those board members were. I have no idea. So.
Do you think a fraud has been committed against both the coaching staff and the players by not sharing this information with them at the outset of the season?
I do believe that the coaching staff and the student athletes were misled, and that at some point, there's probably going to be action taken to gain more truth. And I received this information anonymously through a third party, and I do not know where it came from, other than it came from within the administration, from someone whose conscience, I was told, just got the best of them. But I believe there are others in the UAB community who have, and others who are related to and work with members of the Board of Trustees who know more. And I would urge them to come forth. I can promise you there's more information out there. There are others close to this situation who know more and want to tell more, and we encourage them to do so. Cynthia, you had a question.
What's the latest you've heard from CUSA about allowing UAB to stay in the conference until this is sorted out?
Well, at the conference tournament, Britt Manowski, the conference president, said they were going to take their time, that UAB had to figure this out. And I'm hopeful and cautiously optimistic that we got a few more months to resolve this. But I'm hopeful with this revelation today that as the leaders in the leaders within the administration or within the board and the chancellor, as they start to do the necessary house cleaning that should come from this, that they'll authorize the reinstatement of football, because it's evident that from their own words that the Carr Sports Report was designed to validate the decision made by the administration. It was not an objective report.
Are you going to share this with Dr. Watts, or do you have someone that plans to?
Well,
share
I
this?
mean, Dr. Watts was apparently in on the scheme, so he knew about it months before we did.
But in terms of your request that he resign immediately?
I'm pretty sure he watches the news, but I will be calling the chancellor's office and requesting a meeting with the chancellor and the chairman of the board.
Brian Mackin has what appears to be a no-show job. He's getting paid by UAB. Is that true? And why would UAB pay Brian not to work?
There are a lot of folks that are getting paid from the university system for not working, and it's an issue that unfortunately is doesn't stop just with UA. Any other questions? Thank you for coming. I appreciate your time this morning, and I appreciate your coverage of this important story.